This is a rough country roof rack. It is the first roof rack I've ever owned. And today we're gonna talk about the pros and cons when it comes to owning a roof rack. I've had this installed for about a month now, and some of these pros and cons were pretty obvious, and some of them I definitely didn't expect. Let's jump into it. All right, we're shaking it up in this video. We're starting with the cons. Now the cons of owning a roof rack, we can start with some pretty obvious ones. And the first one being wind noise. I mean, think about it. You put a big square thing on top of your roof, it's going to be hitting quite a bit of air being up on top, especially at highway and freeway speeds. I would say if I'm driving below 50 miles an hour, we're all right. I don't notice any extra noise coming from the roof. But you get 60, 65 all the way up into freeway speeds, it does tend to make some noise up there, make some noticeable changes to the noise that you're hearing inside your cab. On windier days on the freeway, just like yesterday coming home, pretty windy, I was getting that crosswind, and could definitely tell I had a roof rack. You could definitely hear some noise from the top, and that might scare some people away. However, I don't go very fast in this truck very often. It is the daily driver, it is the safer vehicle we own when we go on longer trips. We do take this thing on the freeway, but it's not very often. It's not very frequent that thing's on the freeway or on the highway. So for an off-road, an overlanding vehicle like this thing is, I wasn't very worried about that, the wind noise and whatnot, because I mean, going off-road like we're not going very fast. So that was to be expected. The next con that we're talking about is weight. We've added a little bit of weight on top of the truck now, and some people might be worried that's going to make it a little more top heavy. That hasn't been the case for me, at least on these dips and divots out here in the sand. Looking online, looking on Rough Country's website, I couldn't find how much this thing weighs. If I had to guess, we've added 100 to maybe 150 pounds, maybe just a little bit more, just by how heavy it felt carrying it down some stairs and lifting it on top of the truck. I had to have some help, so it's heavy, but it's not insanely heavy that we're going to be tipping over with this thing on top. So without the roof rack, obviously there wasn't any weight influencing the rocking of the cab going down in dips on the road, or even on my suspension on just pavement. Even with it being added weight up there, I haven't noticed any huge dips and divots, but that's because I have an awesome suspension. You guys will have to go check out that video as well. So even though this one is on the list as a con, I haven't seen it affect me personally that much. However, I could see it being an issue on some other vehicles, taller vehicles maybe, or even more top heavy vehicles. I could see that being a limiting factor for sure, especially on a heavier roof rack like this one. The next con on my list might have been a surprising one: how expensive, or rather cheap, these things are. I'm going to preface this by saying you get what you pay for. More expensive racks, I think you can expect to be a little more streamlined. They might throw in some extras for you. This is my first roof rack, but I can speak on a cheaper roof rack. This being a little over $500 for the Tacoma. The fitment wasn't as streamlined as my experience has been on other aftermarket products for this truck. I had to finagle around some things. The holes didn't line up exactly how they were meant to be. And overall, the thought in the back of my head is, well, you get what you pay for. We're a little bit cheaper in this roof rack, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with doing a little bit of DIY, budget build versus the more expensive stuff. When it comes to a roof rack, I feel like that might be the one spot that you can actually cheap out on and still get a really awesome product and a really great performing thing that'll work for you in the long run, and you'll still be okay. It'll still do what it needs to do. It definitely has for me. But when you're shopping online for a roof rack, I mean, you see the price tag being a lot more versus the price tag being a little cheaper. You have to find that balance, and your expectations going into it have to be in the right place. I definitely wanted to touch on that just from doing my research, looking online before, and I hope that is some helpful info for you going off of my experience. Before we end the cons list, I want to touch back to that first one. With the wind noise also comes drag. There is some increased drag on my truck that I've noticed that could also be impeding my fuel economy, and that is fuel economy and Tacomas don't really go together in the first place. However, over the past month, I've only had to fuel up, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times. And if I'm being honest, I haven't noticed that much of a dip. Maybe just a little bit, but that's a pretty big con if you think about it. a lot of wind is hitting that. You're getting more drag on the sides as well as the front. That's going to slow you down, make you have to push the gas pedal down to go faster, right? Or at least keep up to speed, especially on the freeway. But in my personal experience, I'm okay with that. This is an off-road vehicle, right? This is an overlanding build. I'm not trying to go super fast or get the most MPG out of this truck. So I hope that is some helpful insight. If I missed any cons, you guys have to leave them down in the comments down below. Share your thoughts, share your experiences. That's what we're here for. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into some pros. Talk about what is so awesome about owning a roof rack, especially in my experience and what you might experience owning a roof rack as well. First things first, I mean, look at this thing. That is sexy. That is a sick look added to the truck, especially if you're going for an overland off-road build with the addition of the light bar slot up top and the amber light bar that we recently installed. I mean, come on, that looks so freaking cool. That looks so cool, so sick. I love it. I love that look. It's definitely mean, aggressive, utilitarian, and heavy duty. Those are the thoughts that come to mind. Speaking of the LostFit light bar, that is today's partner that we're going to talk about. LostFit is a great place to snag some outdoor lighting solution. They also have some great gear that I know each and every one of us would absolutely love. If you guys want to save some money at checkout, be sure to use code OTACO20. That'll save you some money. I'll leave them linked down below. Thank you so much, LostFit, for supporting the channel, and thank you guys for supporting the businesses that support me. Let's keep going with this video. I also like the slots here on the sides. I had to warm up to the look, right? I mean, this was a pretty big thing to throw on the truck, and so I definitely had to get used to it a little bit, but I mean, come on. That is so cool. Looks so good. I have future plans, and if you guys have been following along, strapping stuff onto the top as well as the side, I mean, we're going to be taking this thing and doing a lot with it. So a roof rack definitely adds some sexy look to your truck. That being the first pro, the first positive just makes sense. The second pro with this thing has to do with being able to bolt things on top. You've just added so much more area for you to put stuff on, store stuff, and take stuff with you on your adventures, whether it's on the freeway, to a friend's house, off-road, whatever it may be. All the slots on top and the bars, I mean, just give you so much more surface area and options when it comes to bolting stuff on. You guys have seen that in my videos with the shower and the awning, but taking some inspiration from other overlanders, other people with roof rack, we could put totes on there and have a place to store some recovery gear or anything that I might need going on any adventure, just need with the truck, right? Tools. I have plans for like a waterproof tote system up here for like tools and recovery gear. I think that's going to be so sweet. And sure, I might have that with the truck bed, but that's going to lead us into the third pro. We're saving space inside and out of this truck. With the roof rack and with the storage and everything that we just talked about, I mean, we could go and take some of the stuff that's in these pockets, maybe some of my kids' toys, who knows, and throw them up here in a waterproof, dustproof tote. Not only does that save space inside, but also in the truck bed. If you think about it, rather than throwing in a tote that might be taking up space inside the truck bed, we could throw it up here, strap it down, bolt it down, whatever we need to do, and we just save space inside the truck for whatever else outside the truck for more essentials, or even just a clean truck bed, or maybe we don't, and at least we know that we have space in our truck bed if something down the road comes along, or we just need that extra space for an extended trip. You never know. So it really plays into future scenarios as well as being more prepared inside the truck and outside the truck. I love that so much. That was a huge thing that came to mind when I was researching and looking. I'm like, it was almost like a light bulb moment that's like, dude, I can finally get that thing out of the inside of my truck. I don't feel comfortable having it in the truck bed because it might bounce around, I might lose it. So maybe on top of the roof rack and a tote, bundled up with a bunch of other stuff, we might be okay putting it on the roof rack in the tote rather than taking up so much space inside, you know? And I think that's what it's all about. That's what all the installs and all the mods that we tend to do, it's like the best case scenario for the mods and the installs that we want to do to our truck. We got to watch the sunset go down in this video. Overall, I'm sure you can tell I'm super excited about the roof rack and what it's going to bring for not only me, but my passengers, more space inside for them and the adventures that I go on, as well as the added accessories and gear that we can now throw on the truck and just have more places to mount stuff, right? Sure, like in the beginning of this video, we might have a little bit more noise, a little bit more drag, but for the purpose of that build and that truck behind me, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. This is the part of the video where I ask you guys what you think. Be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments and like the video, maybe even share it with a friend. And an extra thank you to those of you who subscribe. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I think we can hit it, especially with your help. So again, a special thank you to you, and we'll see you in the next one.